here's everything I made from scratch to save money and eat fewer ultra-processed foods. And of course, starting with the dough, I'd split one batch into 2 separate bowls. One bowl was to make Subway-length sandwiches for my husband's lunches, and the other dough to make focaccia topped with chili oil and spring onions from the garden. And by the way, if you think my face looks weird in some of these videos, it's not Botox, I promise. I'd had a filling earlier that day. Anyway, because there's so many spring onions from the garden at the moment, I've become obsessed with putting them in bread. And to make it even more oniony, the day before I'd made a fresh crispy chili oil. The crispy part comes from deep frying shallots in oil, which infuses it with this gorgeous oniony flavour. And I don't want to eat loads of frying oil, so I use as little as possible and then top the rest up with olive oil, which makes it perfect for focaccia. You would just never use sunflower oil on a focaccia. The Italians would arrest us. I sprinkled even more spring onions on top, and then this is the most fun part, the dimpling. When you're dimpling, you really want to be pushing that topping and oil into the bread so you get those clear defined dimple holes. Then I had a delivery and I'd ordered some new lollipop molds. The ice lollies you get from the supermarket are full of rubbish and totally ultra processed. I've always got loads of fruit juice, so I thought I would just use that to make my own. I made orange and apple juice lollies, but I'm really excited to try other juices too. I then roasted some plain chicken breast, no spices, no seasoning, because I like to keep the juice for other things. I grilled some bacon, also saving the fat from that because it is full of flavour. I used the fat to roast some jacket potatoes, which I'll always chuck in the oven when I've got it on and it's hot anyway. The chicken and bacon got turned into a mix with, guess what, more spring onions and sweet corn. My husband had it after work for his dinner on a jacket potato with some salad from the garden. And of course I put it in some bread rolls for his lunches the next day. When I was out in the garden picking salad, I noticed how many nettles we had. I've wanted to make a nettle cake for such a long time after watching Clarkson's Farm and getting into how good they are for you. This was a wholemeal flour, nettle and lemon bundt cake. I decorated it with edible flowers from my garden, and I noticed my cat trying to eat a bee on my chive flowers. I had to pick a few to put in some vinegar. If you haven't ever tried chive flower vinegar, then you need to, because it's delicious. All you need is a clean jar, white wine vinegar, and of course chive flowers. Leave it for a few days, maximum 2 weeks, and then sieve the chive flowers out and you'll be left with this gorgeous pink vinegar. I'll be honest, my kids weren't really a biggest fan of the nettle cake, probably because it was green and it had petals on top. So I made them this cake instead, secretly hiding beetroot and avocado in it. I just love feeding them things I've hidden vegetables in. And they've now officially named this red cake in our house. The vegetable flavour was so mild and they were delicious. I also love to find different ways of eating eggs. This time it was deviled eggs, and I did actually add mustard and pepper and stuff, but I forgot to film it. My daughter came home from swimming lesson and she loves using a piping bag. I always clip it at the top for her to make it easier to squeeze out. And then all of a sudden it became a family activity. Of course we had to do a taste test. I think everyone approved, and by the time my husband got home too, there was less than half left. It's about 3 days later now I'm posting this, and I can tell you that there's no